Hey there, you're listening to Movies Not Music, the bi-weekly Waves on the Shore series where Jaron walks me through the wild world of the film industry. We're so glad you're here today. All that's left to do is kick back, relax, and enjoy.
We're not biased, we just don't like bad music.
That was disgusting. Bro just said one.
I start.
What? Let me count you in. One.
Well, there was also like a 3-second pause of silence.
Yeah, because I was waiting for you to count down. Because you
My
said,
brain
let me count
forgot
it
what
down.
I was doing.
You know what's spectacular, Jaron?
I don't know. Tell me, Evan.
Us. We
Yeah.
are spectacular. You know what
are.
also be spectacular?
If we talked about the spectacular now,
I was thinking if your passport comes in time so you can come to the John Mayer concert with
that
me.
would also be spectacular.
But we are also talking about the spectacular now. Oh, what a segue. That's what separates us from the rest of the podcast, right? Like that. It's jokes and intros and transitions like that just separate us from the pack. Joe Rogan could never.
We are just better. We're built different.
When you break it down,
Joe Rogan, fight me right now.
like that's the thing, right? When you narrow it down based on statistics and numbers, we are the best podcast in the world. And that's not even considering the fact that it's us. So it's a runaway. But yeah, this episode of Movies Not Music, we are talking about the spectacular now. Now you said this is in your top 3 of movies. Did I read that text correctly?
So on Letterboxd, you know how you can have those favorite.
Yes.
I know you haven't messed with Letterboxd a whole lot,
Not a whole lot.
but I think was it last Movies Not Music episode?
That we got.
One of the last episodes of the podcast, you set up a Letterboxd
Yep.
and messed with it a little bit. But on Letterboxd, you can have 4 films like on your profile that are like your favorite. So when people
Right.
view your profile, they can see that. The Spectacular Now is one of those movies.
How often do you change that?
When I feel like it. Like, it's not often.
So this is up there.
A few weeks ago, I did switch out... Oh, crap, what was it? I put Cha Cha Real Smooth in, and I took out... what did I... I think I took out Begin Again, which is a good movie that I think you'll like, and we will more than likely be watching it. But, The Spectacular Now is easily... and for reasons we'll get into, it's just easily one of my favorite movies just ever. Like, and I think that it is perfectly imperfect, if that makes sense.
It's imperfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll back you on that.
This will be interesting. Okay. But basically, this movie was released in 2013. Stars Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley. Shout out to my girl Shailene Woodley.
Is that Amy?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And Miles Teller is Sutter. Shailene Woodley is...
By the way, if you told me
Amy.
if you told me Miles Teller was Drake Milligan, I would have believed you. I was like, man, what the heck is if Drake Milligan and John Party had a child, it was the main character. It was Sutter Keeley. Like, I couldn't get that out of my head. I was like, bro's about to especially when he's putting the coin in the jukebox. I'm like, oh man, he's about to go win American Idol.
Oh man. Oh shoot.
Here comes the big plot twist.
That's an interesting kind of thing that you brought up there, because I never thought about
it was
that.
almost distracting. I almost couldn't get it out of my head. I was like, this needs to escape my train of thought.
I have seen this movie many times. I didn't rewatch it because I've just been so busy this week. I told you to watch it though. But essentially, just bare bones plot it's basic. It's not like a super complicated, complex story to understand. It's basically Sutter's the life of the party, and one day he wakes up after getting drunk. He wakes up just in some random person's yard, and Amy is out helping her mom run the paper route, and she's doing it for her. And Amy's like, "Hey there, bud. You wanna wake up and maybe not
Not be
not sleep
roadkill
in
in my front yard.
yeah, and maybe not do this." And so And Sutter's like, you know what, I need a ride, so I'll just help you with your paper route. And so they kind of become like,
Because
I don't
Sutter's
know.
getting over a breakup. He had like
That's true.
prom
Yes.
queen. You didn't really mention that. Sutter
My bad.
has the like picture perfect relationship, gets dumped due to misunderstandings because, you know, women, they don't understand things like that. And so then he's like,
Of course.
shoot, I'm single now. Gets drunk, winds up in someone's field. That's where it picks up. Amy's like, hey, what you doing? And he's like, oh, you should offer me a ride. And then it's this like back and forth where like, holy heck, ain't no way. Where Sutter is like going back and forth between missing his old girlfriend whose name I am forgetting, Carissa, right?
Cassie.
Cassie, shoot.
It's Cassie.
He's going back and forth between missing Cassie and wanting Amy, and it's just this back and forth of like, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna keep going with Amy, or like, not that he can? Okay, so I'll let you go.
Okay, so that you're not wrong, but I think it's a little bit more to it than
There
that.
definitely is. I was trying to.
It's so the thing about Sutter and Amy is, first off, you got to understand. Actually, I should clarify. This is not like a decent amount of people have seen this movie, but it's not like a super, super well-known movie either. So if you haven't watched it, I would recommend that you go watch it and then come back and listen to this discussion, and you can kind of join us in that. But basically, Amy is a very good girl, fairly intelligent. She has collegiate aspirations, but her family's not super wealthy, so she's worried about actually being able to afford college. Then you have Sutter, who's not thought about the future at all. He's just living in the moment, and he's a party guy. He's not like a horrible person, but he's not your like,
he doesn't have everything in a row.
yeah, he's not your picture perfect student, you know. And so they kind of meet, and slowly the relationship starts to build, and it starts out as Sutter just sees her kind of as a way to get Amy back. Or not Amy, sorry, Cassie. Cassie is his ex-girlfriend.
By trying to make her jealous.
Yes. And so at first, that's kind of what he's trying to do. But then Sutter kind of begins to like being around Amy. And I forget his friend's name. Do you remember his friend's name?
Oh, the dink.
It's like Frank or something. I don't know.
No, it was a dorky name, rightfully so. This guy was a twig.
Yeah.
Oh no, what was his name? I need to find this out.
I don't know. It's not that important because he's not a.
No,
he's
it
not
is
that.
because I want to
No.
bully him.
Okay. Well, anyway, you look it up. But basically,
it's like Tyrone.
like his friend's like, dang, you're hanging out with this Amy chick. You don't actually like her, do you? And Sutter's like, nah. But basically, Sutter and Amy do start to fall in love, and they start to support each other through everything that they're going through. Amy, it's with college, and with Sutter, his kind of baggage that not a lot of people really know about is, well, I should say he has two things. One, people do know about. Sutter's kind of a bit of an alcoholic.
Very much so, bro.
And I've
This is
actually-
like a drinking and driving advertisement. Not like a Mothers
Oh.
Against Drinking and Driving advertisement, but like,
There's
hey,
actually
look, you
a-
can drink and drive.
Well, I'll get to that. You just reminded me of something. But
Ricky.
I'll try to...
Ricky was the kid.
It's Ricky.
That was the kid. Like,
Man
hey,
looks like a Ricky.
He looks like a Ricky, man.
Man looks like
Continue.
I feel like you're either like not a stud if you're Ricky, or you are like a certified stud
ain't
if
a
you're
stud.
Ricky. And he's not a
He's
stud.
not a stud.
But so basically Sutter's dealing with alcohol issues, and then he's also dealing with kind of some trauma from his past because his father just isn't really a picture he's not in his life, and he doesn't really know why. And he's kind of resents his mom because he feels like I think he's kind of
his dad.
or that he feels like like she's maybe the reason why dad left, but obviously that's irrational and stupid, but we'll get into that. And so they're kind of figuring all this stuff out, and the reason why, a big reason, probably the main reason why I like this movie so much, is because it's this very realistic look at a high school relationship, dealing with anxiety and like kind of these cliques and like class issues, and I don't know and just how people have their own baggage and their own lives, and you might not necessarily know what's going on with them, if that makes sense. Like Amy's got this pressure to do something, and she knows that she can, but she feels like her family's holding her back. And Sutter, in kind of the same way, his family's holding him back, but not in the exact same way. It's more the idea of his dad is holding him back from being a better man. And I've actually like written essays about this movie before, and like in college and stuff. So like I've really kind of like dissected it. And so Sutter's alcoholism is interesting because it's almost like, to me, how it comes off as is it doesn't seem like he uses it more to cope than it is like a crutch, if that kind of makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think he's
always a little bit buzzed just to stay loose.
Yeah, I don't think he's literally like addicted to alcohol. I think he probably could drop it. But the problem is that he doesn't want to.
I don't think... Well, okay, so there's a point there. There's a point there, because when you said that originally, I was like, well, he did quit his job when his boss said, like, hey, I'm going to keep you, but you can't drink anymore. You can't show up buzz, and then he wound up quitting because of that.
And I'll get into that. He's definitely an alcoholic, but I think it looks a little bit different than just, I need alcohol all the time. I think it stems from the trauma that he's had because his dad left. And because he has this unresolved issue, he uses alcohol to deal with that. Alcohol makes life a lot more bearable. He doesn't have to worry about things if he's always buzzed. And you know what? I'll just kind of segue into the reason this movie's called The Spectacular Now.
Yeah, I was waiting for the punchline of the movie, and it never really came.
Did it not really... Okay.
I got it, but I thought there was going to be a moment where someone said, "The Spectacular Now," and
that would be really cheesy, wouldn't it? That would be kind of...
Not any less cheesy than some of the other lines. Are you kidding me?
I don't think the movie's very cheesy.
I think there's a few lines that are. I think there's a few
really?
lines that are. Like, hold my eyes open, but...
I don't even know what you're talking about. What scene is that?
Oh my gosh, anytime there's any like interaction between male and female, I'm just like having to hold my eyelids open. Like, what is this anti-Riz? Like, don't tell me any words coming out of any of these mouths pulled any individuals back in the day. I refuse to accept the standard of humanity over that low. I was just like, man, come on now. Like, the conversation between them on the lunch table, between Amy and Sutter.
Okay, well, I think I'd have to look at some. I remember dialogue in this movie being very good. Like, I haven't watched it in probably just under a year, but
that's interesting because I thought it was the weakest part. I was like, I like the sentiments, I like the plot, I like the ideas here, but just like at some points I couldn't bear the scripting and like how they were delivering their lines. I was like,
interesting, because to me, they both come off as awkward high schoolers that are out of their depth.
Yeah, and so
And the thing is, the conversations are cringy and they're hard to watch, and I think that's why they're good.
I think that's why I don't like it, because it's hard to watch, and I'm just like, I'm watching this, and it's hard to watch.
Yeah, it's hard to watch sometimes, and I think that's accurate because I will see interactions take place. So I will see high schoolers talk to each other, like, and especially I've been out of high school for basically
that's a fair
3
point,
years now.
because, and I was thinking that I was like, this is actually like very realistic. I'm still just struggling to watch at times, because like just because those conversations actually occur doesn't mean at lunch I'm like listening in on these conversations like, oh man, I gotta hear these stutters, I gotta hear these corny pickup lines, let me listen into the table beside me.
Sure.
No, okay, me and the boys are debating like important things, like how many steps it would take to climb up the CN Tower backwards in one stride.
Okay, but so you would you didn't like the dialogue, but you would agree that it's probably kind of accurate. I'm not saying everybody talks like that. Yeah. So it works for me. If you don't enjoy it, fair enough. But I think a lot of why this movie works so much is things like that. There's no unrealistic, there's no happy ending, there's no like and we'll get to the end of the movie, but like, it's not cliche to me. It's very like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Like there are people like that I know in real life that have
that's
done
fair,
stupid decisions, and
that's a very fair point, because there were, even when I was watching it in my mind, I'm like, oh, that's like that person, that's that person, that's that person. So I get that. I saw myself in Sutter when he was sitting in the math class.
Oh, yeah.
Without a care in the world. He's just there like, hey, yo, man, if I fail, I fail. And all I can think is just me in grade 12 functions. And just being like, hey, yo, teacher, like,
hey, yo,
what's gonna happen is gonna happen here. Like, it might not be pretty, but I was like,
sure.
hey, yo, I can finally relate. I will say, I think my favorite character was the math teacher. Simply
he's a nice character. Yeah,
he was my favorite, because like at the prom he's like a chaperone, and there's one like 3-second scene where my guy's just busting a quick little like shoulder pump to the music, and I'm just like, that has earned you. Not that there was a whole lot of competition, but you've just skyrocketed to the top of my characters list.
That's funny. So I want to get into Amy and Sutter's kind of relationship a little bit, because I do find it really interesting, and I like it so much because of how like toxic and how realistic it is. And I know I keep talking about how realistic.
No, but it is very like.
But yeah, like
the dynamic between them, the conflict of like Sutter like almost using Amy in a way, but not being able to like actually break off because he feels. I was like, you kind of see that a lot in real life. Yeah.
So Sutter actually begins to genuinely like love Amy. But the thing is, there's a part of him that's like, he feels himself changing and he doesn't want to change. He doesn't want to grow because that makes him scared. And you know, and I had started to talk about the actual theme of this movie and with the title, and we actually didn't do that. So I'll just do that now. So, and it revolves around Sutter, like specifically. So Sutter
is always living in the now.
Well, kind of. He's living in fear of the unknown. He's afraid that he's not good enough. He's afraid that he'll be like his dad. He's afraid of messing up. That's why he doesn't go with, that's why he just ignores Amy. That's why he doesn't show up. Because he feels like he's not good enough for Amy. So, it's not that he's not, he's kind of living in the now, but in a different sense. He's neglecting the now. He's not attacking it. He wants to live in, and what the title means is living in the spectacular now. It's like it's being intentional. It's not living out of fear of, oh, what if I can't do this? No, it's like taking the days in stride kind of thing. It's choosing to grow. It's choosing to move past. I know we're kind of getting deep. We're getting a little bit deeper on this episode than normal, but this is genuinely what I believe is kind of the theme of this movie. Is Sutter realizes, and that I love the scene at the end of the movie where he's actually sitting down and writing that essay for a college acceptance.
So mid 2010s, not necessarily in a bad way, but just the fact that it starts off with him writing something and then it comes back at the end, I was like, that is about as 2013 as you can get.
Sure.
It feels like an episode of Good Luck Charlie.
Sure, and also this book was written in the late 2000s. So the movie's...
Oh, it's based on a book.
Yeah. I think I meant to mention that at the beginning, but I must have forgot to. I actually own the book, and I've read a little bit of it, and it's actually really interesting. I won't get super into it, but the book is like way more depressing than the movie.
Really?
Yeah,
it leans into more.
Like Sutter, like, you know, Sutter is sometimes not a great guy, but he's not a horrible guy in the movie. In the book, he's like a piece of garbage. like he's just not very great. But anyway, so yeah, the spectacular now is this idea of kind of embracing the hand that you're dealt and choosing to be better, at least to try to be better. And Sutter's been groveling. He's been like afraid of that. That's where the alcoholism comes in. He uses that to cope, you know. And I think at the end of the movie, he kind of realizes, I can actually be something. And that the scene with his mom right before he writes his essay, where he starts crying, and she basically tells him, I forget exactly what she says, but she says something along the lines of, you're good enough. You are not. She basically tells him without saying it word for word. You're not your father. You're Sutter. You don't have to be that person. You can be yourself. And I really like that scene a lot. And so that kind of prompts him, that inspires him to write that essay and submit it to a college. And then at the very end of the movie, he chooses to go after Amy. And she has gone to college because they had been planning on going.
That sounds mad predatorial, bro. Just
go after
Amy.
Find
Hunts
her
down in Philadelphia. Travels across state lines.
Well, whatever. And one of my favorite things about this movie is the last shot. So Sutter shows up to her college campus, and she's walking out of a building, and they see each other, and she looks at him like not disappointed, but also not thrilled. Like angry, like not thrilled. It's like this kind of mixed bag of feelings, and I think that's a very accurate, like appropriate response to what just happened. It's not this. The movie doesn't end with and then they lived happily ever after. It just ends there. And and it just ends with that shot. And I think that that's kind of the perfect way to end a movie like this because it's. And I understand. Sorry, my brain's going all over the place.
You're good.
I love this movie because, and like I said, it's like perfectly imperfect. It shows all the imperfections of all of these characters, you know? Like maybe the mom shouldn't have hid Sutter from his dad or his dad from Sutter from so long. But also, Sutter probably shouldn't be so naive to think that his dad is this perfect guy. And also, we could get into that real briefly. Sutter and Amy do eventually. Amy's like, we should go see your dad.
I don't know why he would bring Amy along for that. I can't lie. That decision boggled me. Even like trying to put myself in the shoes of a character, I was like, that just seems like an odd choice.
Sometimes some people, like in real life, kind of like to have that support to lean on. And I also think that Sutter kind of was proud of his relationship with Amy, and so he wanted to. It was kind of like a look, Dad, I have a girlfriend, like that kind of thing. And to me, that felt realistic. And people, even if that wasn't the best idea, people do stupid stuff like that. So it's like
she got hit by a car for it. Smoked, I tell you, smoked. She got. Mo. Get out of my car! I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, that scene is so good. I love it. Like actually, I love it. Not because Amy gets hit by a car. It's not as good as the Taylor.
I just love when women get smoked by automated vehicles.
Well, I talked about the Taylor Swift getting hit by her car, right? Yeah. I love that scene because it's hilarious. I love the Amy scene because it like is so like, oh God, like it's like yeah, it's scary and no, what was. Yeah, I don't. Well, I've been talking a lot.
Is what you're talking about.
But yeah, basically his dad's not very great. He doesn't. They like agree to do stuff, and Sutter starts to realize that his dad's just basically a bum, and he gets really mad at him, and then him and Amy start to go back. They get in an argument, and that's what happened. Sutter just yells at Amy. Sutter being Sutter, yells at her in the moment, and like is like, get out of the car. And the reason he does that is because he feels like he isn't good enough for her. And he literally tells her, like, I'm bad for you. Like, and Amy, because Amy loves him, she's like, no, I don't. Like, I want. And then she finally gets out of the car because he's screaming at her, and then she gets hit. And then, yeah. So we've kind of.
What was the plan going to be, though? He was just going to leave her on the side of the road? Like,
I think in the moment, he probably would have come back. Or maybe not. Maybe Sutter would have just been like, I can't go back because I'm such a horrible person. But either she got hit by a car, so it's like, oh, okay. That issue got resolved.
Yeah, maybe not free in the States.
She got
care on that.
Yeah. But since I've been talking a lot, and I'd probably give this movie like at least a 9 out of 10. I freaking love this movie. So I'll let you kind of give your thoughts on it now that I've spoken on it.
I think I have more of an appreciation for it than I do enjoyment. Like,
sure.
Maybe I'm just not the movie connoisseur I need to be to enjoy it properly.
Well,
but for me, sorry, you go.
Well, going into this movie, I'm not going to say I knew, like I'm freaking LeBron James and I can see the future. I didn't know that you wouldn't like it as much as I did, but I had like a feeling that, I mean, you don't watch movies as much as I do. Have you seen a movie like this?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, so like this is kind of a bit. Given what we've kind of watched in the past, this is a bit of a different experience.
So I liked the realism. I liked how it was almost just like a glimpse into an average life, rather than being some like,
It's
crazy
not a romanticized.
situation.
It's not a romanticized
Exactly.
exaggeration.
It's not romanticized at all, and I liked that. But I still, I don't know. I feel like,
well,
even though you didn't have to
I get it.
romanticize the plot and the situation, maybe some more convincing like conversation. I don't know. They just felt really awkward at times. And like I said, maybe I'm just not the connoisseur enough to appreciate it. I'm like such a noob to movies. It's like when there's like a really conceptual album that I show someone and they don't like it because they want a 3-minute verse, chorus, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
I mean, that's a good comparison, maybe.
That's kind of where I'm at as a music or as a movie watcher, a movie
Maybe.
consumer.
Yeah.
So maybe I just don't have the appreciation for it yet. But like I said, I still liked the ideas.
Yeah,
like
and that's
the plot.
Yeah. And that's kind of why I wanted you to see this movie. And maybe I shouldn't have done this one immediately.
Nah,
but
it's fine.
it's whatever. Well,
Maybe I'll rewatch it later.
yeah, and I wanted you to see it because it's a lot. It's different than the James Bond. It's different than Oceans. It's not a franchise. It's just this simple, small. I think it's technically maybe an indie film. It wasn't. It's not like it. I think it had like a budget of like $2 million, which is pretty small for a movie. It's actually very small for a movie, and it only made like $6 million. So, which is a profit, but it's a very small, like in terms of scale compared to the movies we've seen. This is not as big as a project.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all that in mind that you've said, like kind of continue your thoughts. Finish if you want to wrap that up.
Well, I do. do you want the rest of my serious thoughts, or should I just get everything out of the system now?
Do some more serious, and then if you want to joke about some stuff, that's fine.
Oh, I do want to joke in a minute, but I'm trying to think, because like those are generally were my thoughts. I didn't have too much to say. There were like individual parts, like the conversation between Marcus and Sutter made like no sense to me. I was just like, that feels very ill-conceived, that conversation where
Talking about his dad?
No, when Marcus
Wait, who's Marcus? Why am I
the guy with
Cassie's new boyfriend. I remember.
yeah,
Sorry.
he comes in and he's all pissed off, like ready to whoop. So he's like, "Hey, yo, what's the deal with you and Cassie?" Because like he was Sutter had been hanging out with Cassie a little bit, and then just the whole mood of the conversation shifts really fast. And Marcus is like, "Hey, yo, you're a good guy. I want to be like you." And I'm like, "What?" But like, these are individual moments that I had issues with or didn't really get. But I think my overarching thoughts are just that maybe I'm too much of a movie noob to get it.
Well, okay, yeah, here. I don't know. I think given some time, see some more movies, learn a bit more, your movie language will increase. Your repertoire.
My vocab.
Well, yeah, your vocab. And I know what scene you're talking about with Marcus, and I'd have to rewatch it, like, because I know what your conversation you're talking about. He comes in, he's mad. Sutter's kind of trying to diffuse the whole thing. He kind of throws on his Sutter charm, and
He's
kind
a very
of
charming guy.
Yeah, and kind of calms Marcus down. And I remember it kind of going pretty well, because how I remember it is Marcus is trying to be that guy, but Sutter's like, you're not that guy, pal. And I'd have to watch it again, but yeah, I mean that's a fair criticism. But throw a number my way, and we can kind of get into your funny stuff, and then maybe do some trivia, wrap it up, and get this baby going.
As it is, I'm gonna say a nice neutral 5.
Oh,
which
wow.
can probably increase over time.
I was expecting...
That's just like dead middle, like...
Sure.
As a movie. And I'm saying maybe it'll get better over time.
Fair enough. I was hoping for like a 6. That's what I thought you were going to...
Well, you know
slightly
what, Jaron?
positive, but
Sometimes you can't get everything you want in this life, all right?
I'm gonna make you watch, and because of this, I'm gonna make the next movie you watch be 2001: A Space Odyssey, and you're actually going to hate me. Like if you thought this movie had like themes that or like scenes that didn't really make sense or like like some people love 2001. I am in the minority. I think that it's a movie that that's pretending to say things and it actually says absolutely nothing. Like it literally says nothing to say. And people think it's so profound and it blows my mind. Anyway, do you have some funny fun time? Funny fun stuff?
So, let's please talk about Sutter's Fits, okay? This I know we're
okay,
in
actually
2013,
I will agree.
But we cannot let these choices slide. He cannot get away with this uncharged, unconvicted. We're talking so many unbuttoned polos. Or not unbuttoned, sorry, untucked polos. It's like, it looks like you just washed up on the shore from a bachelor's party. But you're showing up to a dinner. It's like, so corny. Nothing fit his frame. Bro's got like the classic like jeans and running shoe combo topped off with some whack colored like polo. Hold on. Bro was whipping out on multiple occasions throughout this movie. My guy pulls up in the Where's Waldo with the jeans and the red and white striped polo on numerous occasions.
The Where's Waldo.
I was sitting there like, there he is. I found him, right?
Okay.
We can't be doing that. Also, real quick, the names in this movie, some of them, they're a bit janky. Why is Amy spelled Aimee? Are her parents dyslexic? What kind of combination of letters makes that say Amy? I couldn't deal with it.
I get that. Like,
Those
actually,
are some of my beefs.
Okay.
The fits are so bad. But the thing is, everything in 2013 for fit-wise is bad.
Sure,
So,
I agree with the I agree for like 90% with the fit thing, but my only thing is, to me it kind of works with Sutter's character. All the unbuttoned stuff and just like the loose back, like he just doesn't care. Like he's just vibing.
So it does match his character. That doesn't mean it's a good fit.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I agree that it's not a good fit. I'm not defending the fit. I'm defending the fit's value in the movie.
But even like
and what it's worth.
When there's scenes in the school, I'm just looking around at all these people. Like, gosh, darn. Like at least when you look back,
Evan, show me a picture of you from 2013. Let me
probably
see.
Just as bad because it's 2013. Now, mind you, I would have been 9, so like I don't even know.
I know.
I would not have even been in control of my clothing. But like they're just panning around, and I'm like, gosh, when you look back on fashion over time, you look back in the 70s, and it's like
I don't think the 2010s was that bad.
There are some strange stuff, but like, oh well. 80s, look back, you're like, yeah, it's cool. Some people were pretty over the top, but that's cool. 90s, you look back, you're like, you know what? That's nice and simple. We mess with that.
Not all the 90s.
2000s, it gets a bit.
To me, it's
strange. Early 2010s, I'm saying 2005 to 2015, nothing good. Nothing good. At least in the back half of the 2010s, we moved in. It was so bad before that they were like, screw it, guys. We're just going to go back to plain T-shirts and plain pants that fit you well and plain shoes. And we're all going to dress really basic. Like, that was the end of the 2010s. Everyone just dressed super basic. And it was what we needed because the pendulum had swung so far this way into just not looking good that they were like, we got to revert back to this, guys. We get white T-shirts and blue jeans. That's all we're wearing. So,
okay,
2010s,
I would say that I slightly disagree because I think that the latter half of the 2000s is not that bad, and I don't even think the 2010s was that bad. Some of it is, sure, but the early 2000s, like, miss me with those like it's from 1995 to 2005. It's like halfway through both of those decades, the latter half of the 90s and the first half of the 2000s. It's like they used very like blue blues and like purple purples and like I don't know and like I hated it and everything, like huge like cargo shorts and like everything just that is gross to me. That's my least favorite. I don't even care about any other era. That's my least favorite.
The grossest by far. It's gotta be those high school scenes in this movie, man. I'm seeing Amy pulling up to like when they go to see Sutter's dad. She's got those capri jeans on, and everyone is wearing like.
I mess with capris.
No, bro, no.
Look, I just think
she's got everyone's just wearing like cheap long sleeves with like patched on pockets in a different color, and it's like you look like a crayon box. You look like a Crayola advertisement. All right.
Tough L.
Oh my gosh! Like throw a sweater on her, a hoodie, anything.
I agree that the fits aren't that good. I just think that there is worse. It's not great. It's definitely far from good.
Not much worse, but maybe there is worse.
Sure.
I think arguably the only thing like potentially really worse is like skinny jeans, like truly skinny jeans on dudes. That might be. I'm not saying you can't wear slim jeans. All right, I'm not a big guy, so my pants. I don't wear big pants. I wear pants that fit me well.
Gosh.
If you're a dude and I can see the definition of your muscles or lack thereof through your pants, we have an issue. Okay? Just go up a waist size or something. That's the only thing truly worse is when you see someone that has those like painted on pants or jeans. Like Dan and Shay would do this back in like 2018 where it's just like, gosh darn, bro, I can see your cheeks in HD. I can see the structural integrity of your male cheeks, and I can't be messing with that.
Bro, look at those high-res cheeks. All right, do we want to do some trivia? I feel like
I'd love some trivia.
Okay, a couple of these things I do remember. One, I always thought this was interesting. That at one point during. Oh wait, no, my bad. I'm reading the wrong thing. Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley apparently like got lunch before they had like started filming. Jeez, I can't talk. And the director, what is his name actually? I don't know. I'll look it up in a second. The director saw them together and they didn't seem to like be getting along, so he was worried about their chemistry. But then they actually, in real life, they've now become like they're like best friends. They like go on vacation with each other. Like their families will go, and which is kind of cool. And it's because of this movie. And I just thought that was just a cute
man.
Thing.
That's spectacular.
Yeah, that is spectacular. Where there was one in particular. So Shailene Woodley did a movie called The Descendants in 2011. And after doing that film, she had not been given any scripts that she was passionate about making. And she was like, these are all buns. I hate these. And she had considered dropping out of acting. And then she got this script and was like, I like it. And so then she did the movie. And I'm glad she did because I love this movie so much.
Shailene Woodley's Amy, right?
Yeah, and if it's not clear, like I know I talk a lot of talk about women on this podcast. But I am dead ass serious when I say that Shailene Woodley is like my dream woman. Like I love Tennille, and don't get me wrong, and I love Lizzie McAlpine, but Shailene Woodley, it's like I can't even explain it. I won't dwell on it for too long, but like, bro, she's like, what a woman.
She got put in jail.
Huh?
Yeah, she's got a mugshot and everything.
I did not know this about Shailene Woodley.
Shailene Woodley arrested for criminal trespassing while protesting Dakota Access Pipeline.
Oh wait, when was this?
2016.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not surprising. Freaking
all these
actors in their politics.
Pipelines.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, bro, you make a living off of being fake. All right? Like, come on. You're trying to politic me. Not that I know a lick about politics, but.
Huh. This is like a very random, like, you know how ESPN will like, they'll like, it's an ESPN fact. You know what I'm talking about? It's just like okay.
Like, this player has set the record for. Like,
it'll be uber
throws
specific.
Made during dinner time in Arkansas.
Most
like,
most free throws made while peeing. It's like, bro, what?
Most free throws made while their toe was less than 3 centimeters from the line.
So this one is this says the film includes both Miles Teller's and Shailene Woodley's first sex scene. Like, it's not as bad as an ESPN, as bad as I can't talk ESPN fact, but I just thought that was funny. I don't know how to say her name. Gosh, I hate that. For all the people, this is not Evan because Evan's not gonna know who she is, but I think her name is Sayar Z. Ronan. She's in other movies. She's a really good actress. She's in a movie called Atonement, which is amazing. Apparently, she was originally offered the role of Amy, but I guess she declined it, which is interesting. But yeah, well, there's some other interesting stuff in there, but you're not gonna find it interesting, so I won't go through it.
My trivia question is, did Ricky get the action in the canoe?
Oh, 100%. Ricky's one of those guys in high school that, like, he'd be bagging women that, like, he shouldn't be. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, there was a guy that went to my high school. I will not name him. But I remember there was a period of time, like 4 months, where he dated this chick who was, like, I think he was a freshman, and she was a senior. And it's like... For one, it's one thing to be a dude dating a female senior. Like, that's like David and Goliath already. But also to be, like, completely unattractive and have no charisma at all. Like, the riz that man had. Oh, we have a guest.
Would you like to say hi?
Who is it?
Podcast. What do you mean, what podcast?
No. Okay, you're making it.
Oh, that's funny. Should I leave that?
What?
This waves thing?
Yes.
Okay.
We talked about this about an hour ago. Because I said I was going to record.
Okay. Listen, why are you in the dark?
Because if I turn those lights on, the lighting on my face sucks.
He thrives in the dark. Yeah, because Evan's so pasty and white, the light reflects off and it really helps with
I get
the
it from
lighting.
her. She can't hear you, by the way.
I know, she can't. Should I leave that in, or do you want me to cut that out?
Honestly, I mean, like chop it up because there's some parts we don't need. But like, as far as her saying what podcast and then figuring out, like,
I'll figure it out. Oh, here. What's the time code? Gosh, what were we saying?
Saying about some dude that pulled a senior girl despite being unattractive. There are some dudes like that. It's like, you know, they just seem to get everyone, and it's like, what redeeming qualities do you have? You don't have a job.
Like Pete Davidson.
You're not in good shape. You're not good looking, but Pete Davidson's funny, right? Some of these people aren't even funny. I'm like, you just look like an ad to quit nicotine. That's all you look like.
You look like an ad to quit nicotine.
That's all you look like. And they got the tens. They got the tens lined up. Mm-hmm. And then you got like.
I don't know what they have. I don't know what the
good individual.
I don't know what kind of Riz supplements they're taking, but let me.
Bro, they're on creatine for sure.
I'm trying to the Rizatine. I'm trying to get on that Riz.
Tell you what, don't get on the Riz in this movie. There was no Riz.
There was none. None to be had.
Absolutely zero.
And yet he was tagging and bagging, bro. Ricky, my guy. Shout out to Ricky and whoever the actor is that played Ricky.
Honestly, unshout out to Ricky. Like, Ricky, if you ever see me, man, you have full
Don't talk to
to
me.
come up
Don't
and
talk to me.
No, he has every right to come up and give me a piece of his mind. Like, hey, yo, why you trash talking me on the podcast? You can say it. Now, granted, I might just flick you away because of the size. But, like, you know, if it ever comes to it, you go for it. But until I have a reason to not think Ricky is the biggest loser, bro, then I don't. I'm just bullying people at this point.
All right. Well, Evan gave The Spectacular Now 5 out of 10, which kind of depresses me, but it's not.
I'm gonna rate it on Letterboxd.
Oh yeah, you need to go retroactively review every movie we've done. Like, you should do
that's
that
gonna
real
be
quick.
hard. I'll
It
do
won't be
for
that
you.
hard. You can literally just look at our episodes.
That's
and,
true.
And then just you don't have to give a review, just rate it. But while he's doing that, I'll outro us out. From love to no, what was I saying? Oh god.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of Movies Not Music. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a comment below. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, you can find both of us on Instagram at The Waves on the Shore, and our personal accounts, myself, Evan, at The Overshore, and Jaron at JEPWOTS.